Welcome to BunniPhish Crafts. I'm your host Heather, known as BunniPhish on Ravelry, Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon. Today is Wednesday, the 27th of May, 2020, and this is episode 19. And tomorrow's my birthday. How old will I be? 34? Yes, I'll be 34. No big plans. Probably won't even bake a cake. Maybe we'll run out and get a cake. But it is too hot. It is. I am in Michigan. The past several days have been in the 80s. We do not have air conditioning. I have an air conditioning unit that I will put in a window when it hits the 90s because my children should be fine. They should go outside and enjoy the breezes and shade and stuff. But my dog is an old lady and she deserves air conditioning. So that will happen eventually. But yes, that explains this whole thing. I gave myself an undercut in the last 2 weeks. By the way, it's been 2 weeks. I am super sorry. Thank you for coming back if you have, especially new subscribers. So there was no real reason why I didn't record anything for 2 weeks other than I got overwhelmed and I needed a break. I think after being stuck in quarantine forever, and then it started getting warm, and I do not do well in the heat. So normally, normal summertime would be we don't stay in the house, so I don't really care that we don't have air conditioning. Um, we go to the library, the park, or the beach every day during summer. We are never home. But right now, we can't. We can't go to those places. I mean, we could go to a park and like have a picnic, but we couldn't play on the playground equipment. The kids can't play on playground equipment. Beaches are closed. The library is closed. So I think that overwhelmed me, plus being home forever. The end of school is coming, and that doesn't really mean much except that then we have even less structure because there's no schoolwork and no class meetings. I think I got overwhelmed. I intend to be here okay. I don't know if I'm going to be here every week or every 2 weeks. It's kind of going to depend on content because, again, can't go to places where I would normally go in the summer to be cool. My front porch is not too bad. Get a decent breeze there and it's in the shade all day. So I'll talk more about that in a little bit, but I'm not knitting that much. So I don't know. Let me know below whether you would rather me check in every week with like a really short video, probably 10 minutes, or do every other week with a slightly longer video. Let me know what you think. I'm fine either way. I don't mind checking in every week or every 2 weeks or every 10 days. Let me know whether you would rather have it regular or have content. So I have finished, since I've seen you, this pair of socks, which I don't know what this marker means. I don't know how much I had left to go on here. I think I had this much of the second sock to finish. Maybe I had the toe of the first sock to finish too, because I was working these 2 at a time for a tutorial for the heels. So I had the first one almost finished, just the toe to go, and then the second one was just in the gusset decreases. So these are for my sister for Christmas. I'm going to take the stitch markers off of them, put them away. The yarn is Lion Brand Mani Petty. I believe this is the boot colorway, but it might be the crew colorway. I cannot remember which one. And the heel yarn is Knit Picks Glimmer in Sapphire Heather. And it's just a plain shorty vanilla sock using numbers that I know work for my feet and my sister's feet. And then I also so I haven't been knitting on very many projects, but I have been when I've been knitting on my blankets. So I have made a lot of progress on blankets, and sometime in the next week, I think it's Monday the 1st, I don't know, I'm going to do a little update on all the small things. Where is my head? I've been gone for 2 weeks, forgot to talk about all the small things and administrative stuff. So I'll just throw it in here. All the small things is going on in the Ravelry group and on Instagram. I have not yet updated the thread with prizes. Honestly, I haven't been over to Ravelry in probably a week and a half. I will get better at that. I just totally checked out from pretty much all social media, anything that had to do with technology except audiobooks. So yes, the idea is to make something, finish a thing. And as long as the needles or hook are out, it pretty much counts. There's a video that explains all of that. I will link it below and put a little card so that you can check that out. So I have finished one of the panels for Mary Lee's blanket. I talked about this probably either last year during all the small things or at the beginning of this year. I don't remember, in a video, but I will go over it. So my plan was to make 4 100 square blocks so that I would have a basis, and then I was going to turn one of those blocks into a 400 square block, make it 20 by 20, and then turn 2 of the blocks into 200 square blocks, so 10 by 20. I have all 4 of the 10 by 10 blocks finished, so I have started turning one of the blocks into the 200 square block. I think one side, I started working up from, well, let me show you. So here's my block. So I started working up from one corner and out from the other. And I think I have maybe 8 or 9 squares up the one side and then 4 squares maybe across the bottom. I don't know. It's a long-term project, but I do want to have this blanket finished by the end of the year. And with all the small things, I get a lot of work done on my modular blankets. Also, let's talk, because I just looked over at my screen. Let's talk about how the TV in the living room, which normally sits right here, broke. And what I have been doing, because I don't have lights yet, it's a planned thing to get, but I haven't yet. I've been just using a white screen on my TV for lighting, so I'm sorry the lighting is poor. Hopefully next time I record, I will have found a solution for that. We have too many TVs. We have too many, but the one in this room is broken. So maybe next week I will take the one from my bedroom and bring it in here for lighting. If I had thought about it, I probably would have done it today. Sorry. Didn't think about it. I just thought, oh my gosh, I haven't recorded in 2 weeks. Let me go record a thing so I can talk about things. So yeah, I've been working on lots of other scrappy projects, but that will be a totally separate video. Other finished things. I finished two spinning projects. This is the spin I was doing for Karen with the wool that her sister had given her when she got her spinning wheel, and she just never used her spinning wheel. So I spun most of this on drop spindles. I spun maybe the last like 5 grams on my wheel because I just wanted to finish the single so that I could then ply it. Smells weird. It doesn't smell sheepy, it smells like grass and sunshine because I hung it on my tree to dry. It's fine. If she doesn't like the smell, we can soak it. again. So this has already been soaked and thwacked and dried. I don't know the yardage at this minute, but I will know it today. So when I'm recording, I will add it in. Yeah, it's a 3-ply fingering weight and mostly a fingering weight. Some places it's a little bit thicker. Some places it might be a little bit thinner. It might be more of a sport weight. It's fine. She didn't have anything that she wanted it to be, like any weight. Oh, my hands are sticky because I'm sweaty. Just whatever it turned out to be. But I know that she mostly makes stuff with thinner yarn, so I want it to go fingering sport. Ta-da! Oh, it's so pretty. I'm really pleased with the way it turned out. And I also finished from Direful Yarns in the colorway Jack's Lament, a superwash merino 19.5 micron count 4-ounce spin of this beautiful skein of yarn. I started this on my wheel probably in January. Didn't spin very much. Kept thinking about maybe getting back to it. Well, now it's hot and all I want to do is be outside, but I can't go anywhere. I do go on some Pokemon walks, but mostly, you know, I'm around the yard, so we've gotten some beautiful yard work done. And I sit on my porch and I spin because it's too hot to knit and it's not too hot to spin. So I have this beautiful skein of yarn. It was 420 wraps on my 2-yard Nitty Notty. No, not 420 wraps, 210 wraps. So about 420-ish yards before washing. So, you know, I would say it's probably 400. I need to measure it to be sure to figure out how much shrinkage there is because I know there's a little because it's superwash merino, but I finished that. And then I started on my wheel. So these were 716 scuttlebutts, which are little tiny battling sort of deals. And I spun that into a single. My plan for this is I'm going to ply it with this. And this is, so there's an ounce difference between the two, so I'll probably have a lot of this left over, which is fine because I'm planning on making a monster skein of yarn later this year using all of my small little samples like this. This came from, I think Haley gave this to me. It came from a dyer. And while we're talking about it, hi. Okay, slight interruption, which I will talk about on vloggy bits today, not here. So I have a bunch of these little like samples that dyers have sent along, or like 1-ounce things of yarn that I've picked up, and I just want them to be in a giant monster skein. Plus I have little bits left over from plying, like just the ends. So I am going to spin those eventually all into singles and then do probably a 3-ply and just ply them all together kind of randomly, make a really monster skein. I don't know what I'll make with it or if I'll even keep it. I might send it to someone else. But look at what happened. Can you see the tragedy? Okay, so I love my children, but they're awful. They touch my things and break my spindles. This is like the 3rd or 4th spindle that's broken in the last couple years. I have the tip. It's right here. So I think I'm going to use some wood glue, glue it back on, and then take some washi tape and bind that, because the shaft doesn't really matter in the spinning. It won't catch on anything. It's fine. It's just annoying. It would be different if I broke it, then, because then I'd be like, oh, well, I broke it. But it was sitting on my desk right here. And my daughter touched my laptop and moved my stuff and broke my spindle. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. That's going to be a future spinning project. Did I finish talking about the 716 project that I'm doing? I have the one ply. I'm going to spin this ply together. Yes, that's where I was going with it. And then I'm going to have leftovers that are going to go in the monster skein. Okay, we're good. We're good. I'm back on track. So let's talk about some more spinning. I have picked up this, is it Dye For You fiber? Let's see if I have the tag in the bottom of the bag. I know that I have the tag somewhere. I've seen it in the past week, but apparently not in this bag. So this is a bamboo merino spin that I started last year, I think, because I stole the spindle to work on Karen's spin, and I've just rewound what I had spun back onto the spindle. I have recently been walking, doing little pokey walks. It's about 1.5 miles of a little circuit to hit 3 gyms and 3 Pokestops. So 1.5 miles, I hit all of those things, and I have been spinning while I've been doing that. I don't know that that's going to continue. Yesterday we went on our first 6-mile walk at the beach where we normally go. That is also vlogged a little bit. The 6-mile walk and the beach are not the same thing. It's a big metro park. So there are 2 beaches there. There's a 6-mile ring that you can walk on, and we did that yesterday. Well, I wore the wrong shoes. They're the same shoes I've been wearing for my 1.5 mile walks, but something about, maybe because the 6-mile track is hilly and walking around my neighborhood is flat, I don't know. I got about 3/4 of a mile into the 6-mile walk, and the outside of my foot, like the side opposite the arch, started hurting terribly, like getting a cramp in my right leg. So I took off my shoes and I walked almost the rest of the track. I think I walked to about 4.75 miles barefoot, mostly on the grass, but sometimes I had to cross pavement streets and stuff. And then I had to put my shoes back on because my feet started hurting from walking on the grass and stuff. And so today my heel hurts really bad. I also have 3 blisters per foot, but whatever, that's fine. But my heel hurts. It might be something like plantar fasciitis. I hope not. So I'm not going to walk today. I did have my feet in cold Epsom salt baths yesterday to help. So yeah, I'm hoping that tomorrow it will feel better, but if not, I'm going to have to stay off my feet for a while, which will be a super bummer because I love walking. And then I won't be working on the spindle project because I have been mostly working on the spindle project while walking. Other projects that I'm working on, I started a sock to knit on while I was walking using Crazy Zauberball in the color, nope, I can't do that, German. Can you see it? I love it. And the sock is Cold as Ice by Lisa K. Ross. It's from her Game of Thrones collection. And the tag is stuck to my stitch marker, whatever. So I have, let's see, 1, 2, so I'm partially through the 3rd repeat of the sock. The pattern down here, I think finishing that third repeat will give me the length I need for the leg. Haven't decided what kind of heel I'm going to put in here. The pattern calls for a heel flapping gusset, which I do like. It fits me really, really well. But then I would have to figure out, I'm pulling from the outside of the ball, so I would have to find the inside of the ball to work the heel, I think, because I don't want, as you can see, it changes color pretty frequently, and I don't want a jog that doesn't make sense in the sock. So I might do that. I might find contrasting heels if I can find probably a gray that I like to go with it. I don't know. I haven't decided. I have half a repeat to go. No, less than half a repeat. Ooh, I'm almost finished this repeat. Maybe I'll do another repeat. Maybe these will be longer socks. It's too hot to even contemplate wearing socks right now. So longer socks are fine because I'll definitely wear them in wintertime. The pattern is really, really easy to follow. So far, all of the patterns of Lisa's that I've made are really easy to follow. She's also Paper Daisy Creations. So I will be continuing to work on that, but there's no real deadline. It'll just be while I'm walking, if I'm still able to walk. The reason I have a knitting project and a spinning project for walking is that I don't want to spin if it's rainy or drizzly. I think that would make it really complicated, but I don't mind knitting while it's drizzly. That doesn't bother me. So that's why I have two walking projects. Hopefully I'll be able to get back to them. I have also made okay progress on my baby blanket knit. I do need to get working on this because we're officially less than a month until the baby shower, and today or tomorrow, I have yet to talk to the knit shop worker lady, Karen, to see if she's available this afternoon for purchasing of yarn and stuff for my birthday. But I'm going to get some soak while I'm there so that I can wash all of the baby things. Anyway, I need to finish this in case. So in Michigan, the shelter in place, I think, this is based off what my mom said. Shelter in place is still in place through June 12th. It's changed a little. You can have meetings up to 10 people, but things are still closed, stuff like that. I would imagine that non-essential travel is still not possible. So the baby shower is in the middle of Ohio, and I live by Detroit. So that's non-essential. So I might be sending them through the mail, which if that's the case, they're going to get there late because mail system is tricky. But I would like them to not be super late. I would like to be able to send pictures so that if they have the baby shower, because the things are for my children's aunt, who is my ex's sister. So we're not really related. She's my friend. We Instagram back and forth. So yeah, she's my friend, but it's tricky to explain, kind of. Although I just did in very few words. Maybe just in my head it feels tricky to explain. So his family lives down there, and his family will probably be meeting either way because they're family. And I think I'm pretty sure, though I haven't double checked, that the address is at one of the aunt's house. And I really kind of want to go because I miss them. But yes. So it's definitely the third week of June is the shower. And if I'm sending it instead of traveling, I want to send it like the second week, so it gets there kind of on time. But I want to have finished pictures. That's where I was getting finished pictures to send my kid's grandma so she can show her daughter what will eventually be coming to her. So I need to get a move on this. I don't know what percentage of yarn I have used. I could weigh it, but I'm not going to. It started with yellow in the center, went to pink and yellow, went to blue and yellow, now it's in, then it went to blue and pink, now it's in just pink. It's going to go back to pink and blue, blue and yellow, yellow and pink, and then yellow on the outside, and I will figure out a border. Depending on how big it is, I don't really have much plan for this except that I'm using the bean sprout pattern, which is one of my patterns. And I don't know if I'm going to do the border as written in that pattern or if I'm going to do something else. We will see when I get it closer, but that means I have to pull this out and work on it. I need to be working on this. I need to work on this instead of the modular blankets, I think, just for now. I really, really miss the library and the park and the beach. Okay, I think that is all of the crafting content I have for you. Did I ever show you guys? I feel like I didn't. I finished a diamond painting. I don't remember when I finished that, but I finished it. So I'll put in a picture here because I know that took up some time. I think I finished it since the last recording. So on to reading. I have been listening to so many audiobooks and reading a few physical books. I finished Kite Runner, which was a worthwhile read, but there were some really, really, really hard parts to get through. Trigger warnings for torture, rape, yeah. Worth reading. It's about a pair of boys living in, I can't remember. I think it's Afghanistan. And one is the son of the house and one is the son of the servants of the house, and they're best friends until they're not. And it goes through the break in their relationship and things ensue. And there is immigration to America, and yeah, there's a lot in that book. It was, I don't want to say an enjoyable read because it wasn't enjoyable to read what was going on, but it was a good read. I wanted to read what I was reading even though I didn't want to read what was going on. It's one of those books that makes you think about things. I am still reading Sophie's World. I'm trying really hard to read that. It's just a lot of philosophy talk. It's like reading a textbook. So I'm still plugging away on that. I have started, did I start another book? No. I pulled Snow Crash off of my shelf. That's the next physical book I'm going to read. No, there has to be another one. Oh, I read The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, which is a classic, a modern classic. It deals with suicide. So there's that. Apparently all of my books on my bookshelf that I've read recently are just difficult books. Audiobooks though, I've been listening through Audible Stories, which is free content for students until the pandemic is up, is what it's touted as. I don't know if it's going to continue over the summer. Kind of hope it is. But I've been listening to a lot on that. I have listened to the Screwtape Diaries and Something of Grief by C.S. Lewis. Those are both really short. The first one is letters from a demon to his nephew, talking about morality and stuff and how to corrupt people. Very interesting point of view during World War II. And then the second one were his thoughts on grief after his wife died. I have listened to The Bone Witch, which was really, really good. Well, I thought it was really good. The reviews were very, very mixed and said things like the narrator wasn't very good. I had no problems with the listening of the story. I thought it was all really well done. So, whatever, people can have their opinions and they can be different than mine. That's fine. I really, really liked that one though. I recommend that. I listened to Talon, which is the first book in the Talon series, and I think they have the first 5 books of the series on Audible Stories, so I'll probably be listening to that. Um, you know, every few books, listen to another in that series. It is about dragons, and dragons shift to human form and try to assimilate to human culture. But there's also the Order of St. George who tries to kill the dragons to keep humanity safe. And it's a YA novel. So there's a little Romeo Juliet thing that happens. A dragon with a St. George. So that's pretty good. I looked at the reviews. I pretty much never look at reviews. But this time I did. The reviewers liken it to Twilight, which I disagree with that sentiment, but okay. There is kind of a love triangle, but not really. One of the sides is pretty much one-sided. But maybe it'll bloom into something in the coming books. I don't know. It's not my favorite thing that I've ever read, but I'll listen to more of the books as I go, especially because the library is still not open, so I cannot access a library book. I am currently listening to The Liar's Daughter by Megan Cooley Peterson, which is super interesting. It is about a girl who grows up in a cult, and she is taken out of the situation by social services, put into a different house, and it alternates between flashes of her present in this new house versus memories from the past of living in her old house and coming to terms with those things. Oh my goodness, it's really, really good. Better than I thought it was going to be. And I am really, really fascinated by charismatic leaders. Not that I like them, but I'm fascinated by the level of charisma that some people have. So I'm really, really enjoying this. I have also listened to The Mystery of Alice, which is an Audible exclusive. That is recorded as as the audio from a series of video vlogs. So that was pretty interesting. If you like kind of murder mystery-ish things, yeah, it's okay. I can't say murder mystery because there's not a murder that takes place. But there's definitely like a disappearance and a lot going on. It was pretty good. It does center middle schoolers, which is younger than I tend to listen to, but it wasn't terrible. I think that's all that I've listened to, which is a lot. Because our TV hasn't been working, and I've been sitting out on my front porch, so I can just take my audiobook outside and listen to it as I spin all day. And I listened to the letters on grief or whatever yesterday when I was doing the 6-mile walk. So I finished the whole thing. Yeah, I think that's everything that I've read. So that's everything I have for you this week. Definitely down below, let me know if you would rather me check in every week so I'm super regular the content comes out on a schedule, but they might be shorter, or if I should just wait and save up content because I don't know how much content there's going to be now that it's hot. Let me know. And I will see you next week. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for being here. I super appreciate our interactions. I will talk to you soon. Bye.